After 20 years of building together through dust, deadlines, and damn good ideas, Pace and Adam invite you to join them for honest conversations about the home building world. Welcome to Build Connected, where experience meets insight, powered by Diamond Home Restoration.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Build Connected. Thanks for joining us for episode 50. It's a big one, Adam.
It sure is. Wow. I'm excited. I mean, you never know where this path is going to go, but it's been fun doing this each week, and I can't believe how quick time goes by. 50 already. It's like watching your kids go from changing their diapers to looking at colleges. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. 50 weeks in a row, though, an accomplishment for us, setting aside a little time each week and just sharing a little bit of kind of what's going on in our heads and getting some feedback from the people out there. It's been really, really fun.
Yeah, I was just talking to an acquaintance that I haven't seen in a while, and I was surprised. He told me, "Listen, I listen to your podcast every week. I spend a lot of time in the car, and it brings joy to my day." And that was awesome. Those are the kind of comments that just keep us rolling and continuing to do this. So
I
thanks,
mean,
everybody.
that's happened to me a few times as well. A couple times from people really close to me, and a couple times from people, that I didn't really know that well. And it had a big impact. It's really good to hear the feedback. And really, anybody out there that, has something to say, good or bad, right? What you want to hear, something that might have had an impact on you. We would love to hear from you. We don't hear nearly enough, and it means a lot. So if you're listening to this, send us a quick note. There's many ways to do that, whether it's through the socials or, picking up the phone or an email. We would love to hear from you. So please.
Yeah, we love seeing the comments and for better or worse, whatever it is, we want to hear what you have to say, and we'll be replying back. So yeah, send us what your thoughts are.
No
Um,
doubt. So we've always done our episodes starting off talking about products, and it's interesting because, Adam, you and I, every week, we're always talking about new things. It's really our way of staying current with, it could be trends, it could be different code things, right? Just the innovation that's out there. So it's part of our routine just to maintain kind of our knowledge in the industry, and featuring a product each week. It's been a nice little share, I think, on our side.
yeah, I mean everything from the products that we use or just the research that we do on our own. It's part of our everyday life, and to bring that to the people is enjoyable for us, right? We have things that we love to use on site, and you and I read a lot of our trade journals, and we follow a couple of key people in our industry, and it's our job to keep up to date with new and innovative products, whether we've used them or not, or want to use them. And yeah, bringing them to you folks out there is something we'll continue to do in the upcoming year.
Yeah, it's kind of a fine line, right? I mean, there's so many products that are coming out all the time, and it's hard to keep up. Like pre-social media, it was definitely more reading the trade journals, like you said. Social media really changes that. But it's always interesting to see what sticks and what doesn't, right? There's been so many items that you and I have talked about that, just 2 years later, they're gone. And there's some that we use every day now.
Yeah, a good example, right? We've talked about some sheathing products like the zip sheathing. That one has been around for so long, and like you said, when these products come out, you're like, is this gonna retain its level of goodness in our industry? Are people going to keep using it? And yeah, that was one of them. But yeah, we're always seeing new innovations and letting people know if they're good or bad, and if they're going to stay or not. We
Yeah, I mean, one thing that's kind of a downside of using something that's maybe new to market is we've been in the situation before where we've used something and the inspector has never seen it, right? So you've got to do a little background. You have to show some listings, and do a little education with the inspector on that new product and show that it is approved and it is appropriate for the application. So, I mean, we've run into that a couple of times, but yeah, it's been fun.
Absolutely. And, also listening to you rant and rave about certain things too. I guess that would be the middle of our show, right, Pace? Getting into some of the things that you get to vent about and highlight for the people. A little behind the scenes stuff, right? That's what we want to bring. Things that maybe people don't see or hear about as much, and you bringing some of that stuff to light on kind of the segment that you do the most. That's fun to be a part of.
Yeah, it's twofold for me, right? I'm either trying to maybe shine a light on the industry, like, a pro or a con. It's mostly, the big kind of roadblocks, just because I feel they need to be talked about more. And they have an impact on how we do business, right? And that's the other thing that we often find ourselves talking about is just like useful things for the contractor out there, how to run your business, how to make sure that you're doing things efficiently, how to make sure you're doing money. So we're talking about things as simple as organization, up to job costing, to estimating, to contract stuff. We've talked about all those things, and I think that especially if you're working your way up as a new business owner, we're trying to just share from past experience. And that usually means mistakes, right? Like everybody has to hit those bumps in the road to learn a lesson.
Yeah, I mean, that's the informative part that I think you provide is kind of there's the contractor side, right? Where we kind of talk about things that we've gone through for better or worse and how it could benefit other potential future current contractors out there. But the other side of the equation is the client side, right? Really uh, bringing to light some things that they can learn about. Maybe it's things they've never even thought about from products to the behind the scenes stuff when it comes to permitting and understanding that process, understanding maybe what a contractor's mindset is and how they can relate and get appropriate estimates and choosing contractors, right? I mean, this is all stuff that I think everybody can relate to that's going to be doing work or is currently doing work on their homes.
You're right. I mean, you're right. That's a third leg that we often talk about, right? It's just helping guide the homeowner through the process, right? We always talk about, most people go through it once. Some people, the crazy ones will go through it two times or more. So it's foreign to most people. Yeah, like people like you and I, it's way into the crazy, right?
Yeah, well, I'm like that crazy person that when I don't have a project on my house, I kind of want one because I like getting my hands dirty and I kind of go a little stir crazy. And then when I'm doing the project, I'm like, man, I can't wait till this project's over. I'm getting sick of this project. And then it's over, and then a little bit of time goes by. Then I'm like, man, I'm ready for another project. It's this just circle of insanity that I live in.
Yeah, they make fidget spinners for people like you. You can get just a little Pokemon kind of Pokemon fidget spinner watch.
I got a whole drawer of them. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
you need them. You need them. But you're right. It's that aspect of walking homeowners through the process has been really fun too, because it is daunting, right? There's so many things that you need to do that you need to think about, and most of this stuff is for the first time. I wanted to just kind of highlight one very hopeful thing, that it ties directly into this regulation problem in the industry. Um, and it's from your home state of Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Um, Pennsylvania is setting down a roadmap for states like California to change their permitting process. And it's been really cool to hear about. So, Pennsylvania dealt with a lot of delays and a lot of roadblocks in the building process. But they have instituted some big changes over the past year or two. An executive order that that guarantees a timeline to get a permit. And if the building department does not meet the guaranteed time, you get your money back. And
Oh,
that is awesome. It is straight up awesome. And maybe on top of that, right? They start with the mentality of, how are we getting to yes with your permit? Instead of, and let me just paint a small picture here, walk through the door of a building department in California, maybe hit your first incoming desk, and you have somebody say, "Oh, I'm sorry, this is the wrong format paper. You've used the wrong font," right? You don't have the right table on page 3, right? That's where the process starts. Like, let's get as finicky as possible about how your plans or your permit application is laid out before we even look at the substance of it. So starting with the idea of how do we get to yes just changes the philosophy of the building department.
Yeah, what a brutal hill to climb it is when you're that homeowner trying to get the permit, right? You and I have both been through that. We've spent so much time in the building department, and I know through some of these hoops that we've had to jump through, you are not somebody that I want to be next to in a building department. It is not fun to watch somebody tell you that the font isn't right or the size of the paper isn't right. I've been there with you before, and it's scary to be on the other side of that table, which is why you're not allowed in the building department anymore. Not because you were banned, but maybe because I've banned you from that. But
Yeah,
it's refreshing to well, settle down. Boy, I can see I can see he's getting heated. Oh boy, it's refreshing to see Pennsylvania going through this process and making things easier, and I really hope that other states will follow, and I think they will.
there's a real shift. I mean, I don't know if we're at the tipping point yet, but things like we talked about early on in the podcast, Ezra Klein's book, Abundance, right? Weekly now, various podcasts talk about the problem with regulation and the way to build more, the way to construct in this country, which we used to have. So, Pennsylvania is a great example and so hopeful to me of the path forward. So, man, I love it. But the best thing you ever did is said to me, "You're not allowed here in the building department anymore," because you're right. I don't have those skills built into me. I always talk about I got like a low gear and a high gear, but I don't have those middle gears. So like I snap so quick when somebody says something that's obviously just a flex, right? It's just a I can say no, so I'm going to say no situation.
Yeah, you've got that unique transmission, that, that hard to find transmission.
I'm a
But
two
no, look
speed.
but look, change is happening, we're seeing it here in California, and like you mentioned in Pennsylvania, that's outstanding, and I hope it happens here, but, it's funny, just the other day, I had met with our roofer. I mean, for better or worse, he just brought it up to me, we were talking about pulling a permit for an upcoming project, and he said, "Man, the process for me getting a roofing permit is so easy now. I just go online, I fill everything out myself, and I don't know why, but the inspector doesn't even come out anymore. As a licensed roofer, you have to stand by your work and sign off on it on your own, which is cool. I mean, some homeowners aren't psyched about that because they want that overwatch from the city, and I get that on that aspect. But I think it's outstanding. I think if you hire the right person that you know and trust, and they're signing off on it, then that's how it should be. I mean, I'm not saying that an inspector shouldn't go and visually look at a project because they do on larger stuff, but something that's simple like a roof, um, you know, things are getting easier.
Yeah, there are those examples of things that are much more streamlined with an online permit. They're virtually instantaneous. Like once you've set up um your account with the town or the city, right? You've got the ability to go on and pull a lot of basic permits immediately, and that's great. That is a step, no doubt, in the right direction.
Yeah.
Um, we've always tried to finish up with sort of a boots on the ground, like interesting thing on a project segment on the show. And, we're going to keep doing that. Like that's our time to kind of share about something that you and I have been working on the past few days, usually on a job and just oftentimes it's taking maybe a product or a technique or a frustration, whatever. It's a real world example of going through that. So that's been super fun too.
Yeah, and also having guests on, right? I mean, we've had a few shows where we've had some guests, and that might be my favorite part of the show is when we have people, interesting people on. And I think there's always so many questions we could go on and on for some of these people. So I think maybe more of that to come in the upcoming year, having more guests and more discussions about building science and different aspects of construction. And you and I talked about even having maybe a firefighter on talking about some of the fire issues that we see day in and day out in these WUI zones.
Yeah, let's make a guarantee here. Within the next 3 guests, there will be a fire-related talk, so we'll do that. But definitely more guests. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a little more coordination, but I think it mixes it up for us too, right? And yeah, we've been doing every 5th episode. We'll probably stick with that. We might break from that tradition here and there, but having guests on has been really cool.
Yeah, well, again, I'll say it again. We want to hear from you out there. Any questions or comments? Drop a little note to us, and we'll get back to you.
And I think in the future I think we should make a better attempt to the ideas, the interesting things we're talking about in the job, having sort of like follow-up posts on our like Instagram, Facebook feeds that kind of show that if we're, say, talking about a composite decking material, right, that we just used, we'll have some video or some photos so you can kind of follow along with that actual thing that we were talking about. I think that would be a nice tie-in to do in the future.
Yeah, and if there's anything that we're not talking about that you want to see or learn about, let us know. We want to bring it to you. Maybe there's something new and exciting happening in your state that we're not aware of, right? Pace, you caught wind of what's happening in Pennsylvania, and this is happening all over the country. I think that we want to know about things that you're learning about. They can be informative to us, and we can share it with everybody out there because for change to happen, right, it needs to happen throughout the country and people need to know about it. If no one knows about it, then change doesn't happen as rapidly. So bring it to our attention. Let's let the people out there know what's going on, and we want to know what's going on.
I think that feedback it's just, I mean, it feels good for us, but it's informative, right? And I think it directs us on maybe what we talk about in the future. So yeah, please guys, reach out, just drop a note, phone call. We'd love to hear your thoughts on something you'd like us to talk about.
Yeah, if there's something negative going on in your neck of the woods and you want to hear Pace rant about it, that's always fun to do too. I like watching that steam come out of your ears.
Yeah, that's fun for everybody, I think. Maybe not in my household, it's not fun, but outside of my household, yeah, it's usually fun.
So we got a Boston hat for episode 50. Shocker. I thought maybe there would be something different. Maybe you bring us a hat in the upcoming 50 episodes that doesn't have a B on it. What would that hat look like?
I've done it a few times. I mean, this is the thing maybe we should focus on for the next 50. Having you pay attention, like whether it's showing the
Ooh.
hair or what's actually on the hat. There's been a couple of American flags, there's been a Syracuse hat, and there's been a Maine hat.
Yeah, I do recall those. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying every 5 episodes I'll slide something in there, but every now and then a different hat makes an appearance.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Well, that I think that about covers episode 50. So really, really grateful for everybody that's tuning in. Looking forward to the next 50 episodes with everybody. Been fun doing this with you, Pace, and looking forward to continuing things on. So I'm Adam with Build Connected.
And I'm Pace.
Thank you.
See ya.
Thanks for joining us on Build Connected. For more stories, insights, and ideas, visit diamondhomerestoration.com or find us on Instagram and LinkedIn. We'll be back next week. We hope you will too.